any child. We have to accept childishness in kids. For example, when you go out to a hotel, right? Typically, it is like you're supposed to be probably not be talking too loudly or disturbing the others and stuff like that. But if you are gone out as a family of 20 people and there are 3 4 kids there, obviously the kids are going to enjoy, they are going to make do some childish acts or laugh out loud. At this point of time, the parent should not keep disciplining them. Somewhere there should be that boundary. It's not harming anybody in any way. Respecting the child's rights. The child is an individual of their own right. They have got certain rights. The child has the right to go to school. So the parent has to allow the child to go to school. Probably the parent, the first day, they should give the warning that by 8 7:45, if you get ready, we can go to school. All right, because we will be to go school on time. The choice of words is very, very important when we are disciplining kids. It shouldn't be only if you get ready, then I'm going to take you. Otherwise, I don't have time. That's not how it should work. It should be like, okay, you get ready by 7:45, dear. Then we can leave and be there on time. Or else we will be late, which is not something that the school would like. That's all. First day, if the child is say late, you can say this is the first and the last warning that you are given, because reaching school late will lead to a very bad remark in your school. So you're respecting the child's rights to go to school, but the next time the child does the mistake, it's a strict no no. A child's right is to be a child. They do kiddish stuff. That has to be respected. We cannot expect them to behave like adults. So discipline is something that will slowly soak into them. Let us not treat them like office employees who need to follow all the rules. They just go through the rules once, they sign the agreement, and then they are doing it as per that. That's not how it works with kids. Responsible for behavior, not emotions. If the child has a negative emotion, the child is feeling very irritated that day, okay, and when you go to this hotel gathering of 20 people, the child throws a tantrum that they will have ice cream and nothing else. So here the child is responsible for the behavior. They should not be shouting out loud. The parent should correct that. But the parent cannot say, how is it that you're getting irritated? We are there with 20 people. That is not a good thing to do. Somewhere we are blurring the line between what actually we want to control or we want to correct in the kids. So behavior, the child is responsible for it, not their emotions. In the sense, the child should know to handle different kinds of emotions. Positive emotions, negative emotions, all are part of life. So the child has to be taught that without feeling ashamed of it. Do not allow unpermissible acts under the excuse they are children. Now, for example, the same restaurant example, you go there, you're sitting in the restaurant, the child is irritated, she takes a glass of water and just throws it around. Probably, it goes, bounces off on the other table. That is not a permissible act. Again, the problem is the behavior that the child has thrown the glass away. So there has to be that control over the child, where the child is taught that, okay, I just got a little distracted with the chat. Okay, so under the excuse that they are children, so we should not let them get away with. Those are the rules is you can be kiddish with your own people, but you cannot resort to any kind of violence, any kind of harm to out external world. Do not yield to all demands. This is a strict no no. The children are the most assertive when it comes to what they want. They will repeat a thing over and over and over and over again, probably from morning to night, and carry it forward to the next day also, because they want to know which is the breaking point of the parent. So they will keep going on and on and on. Mom, can I have the ice cream? Mom, can I have the ice cream? Or dad, can I have the ice cream? They will keep doing it. What happens at some point of time, they know probably the parent will get so frustrated that they'll give in to the demand. Or the parent may get angry, slap them one, and then feel guilty and ultimately give in to the demand. The parent has to know how to smartly not to yield in to the demands of a very extremely nagging, assertive child who may probably drive the parent to frustration to yield to the demands. Cannot infringe someone else's rights. Now, here, same dinner table, 20 people, the child wants ice cream. This parent has said, no, you cannot eat the ice cream. Say, probably because the child has cold or something. All right. And there's another child sitting right in front of them, and that child is fine. So the parent has allowed that child to eat the ice cream. So this child cannot just, you know, pull off that ice cream and start eating that. You have your rights, you have your rules that needs to be followed. Just because you're a child, you cannot infringe on someone else's rights. Okay. So, couple of points here, which is teaching us on what is the boundary that we set. How can we control the child? How can we discipline the child? At the same time, allow them to be children. This playing this balance is the key. Okay. Child treats a parent like her manager employee. How to manage? Good question there. Okay, so if the child is treating the parent like her manager or employee, this means the parent has been not emotionally connecting with the child. The parent has not been listening to the child, right? Somewhere, what has happened here? The emotional connect, emotional well-being of the child, it's the critical responsibility of the parent to ensure that first they are listening to the child. First and foremost thing is the channel of communication being established between a parent and a child. Disciplining, punishment, and then you've got multiple raising a responsible kid. All that is later. If you have a child who listens to you, if you have a child who trusts you, they will not treat you like the manager, or you know, they will not behave like an employee. Which means the parent herself or himself is taking the role of a manager. The parent is setting the rules in such a way that the child feels okay. Each time I'm entering the house, it feels like I'm in the principal's room, and I'll be punished if I don't do something right. The connect, the bonding is very, very essential. If the communication is established, if the child believes the parent, the child will listen to the parent as because they think of them as their well wisher. They think of them as hand in glove. Okay, we do something, we do it together. If I do something wrong, I can confide in my parent. If that kind of confidence comes in the child, that comes only if the channel of communication is open, clear, non judgmental. Okay, now we'll get into simple case studies. Yeah, limiting permissiveness. Typical scene nowadays where children, irrespective of their age, they want branded stuff. Probably in the iWatch, they are just going to look at the time and listen to music and watch videos, but yet they will demand an iWatch. All right. So the kid says, I want a smartwatch or an iWatch. All right, 1 second. The parent says, no, dear, I don't have the money for it. Also, we need to pay for your sister's tuitions this month. The parent has told the child something on why the child cannot have the iWatch. Okay, what happens further? The child is doing what they know the best, that is throwing a tantrum and crying, because they know that tears can melt probably even the most hardest of parents' hearts. So they use that as their first weapon. Wow, mom, you told me that if I'm good today, I can have whatever I want. Okay. The parent says, you are the best child, but dear, I cannot afford it this month. Now, here, can we identify the mistake or what is not correct in the communication that has happened between the parent and the child here? Excellent. Okay, now we'll have interesting responses. Unnecessary praising, exactly. Best child labeling. Okay, False promises, bribing the child, fake comforting, not fulfilling promises. Very good. Parent was not clear in the communication. As simple as that. Child should be made to understand that he doesn't need it. Parent has made a false promise, unrealistic expectations. Excellent. Great responses in here. So, what is the first mistake? It started with the parent. The parent tells the child that if you're good today, the child can have whatever they want. Wow. I wish that, you know, I was also stuck to some parent like this who says that if you are good for a day, you will get whatever you want. So the child is simple. For child it is simple, black or white, right? You are saying that you will give me whatever you want, so I want a iWatch. And here again the parent is labeling the child, right? Not having boundaries. Yes, perfect. You're the best child, but I cannot afford it this month. That is what the parent has told the child. Okay? Totally wrong way of communicating. Here we are. Positive labeling, lot of promises, there's bribing happening here. Not a good scene at all. So this is definitely going to lead to a disaster with respect to the parenting that has happened right now. Mom, you don't love me. If you love me, you will buy it now. Pay for my sister's tuitions next month after speaking to the teacher. I do love you. You're right. I'll speak to the tuition teacher and buy it for you. Okay. Interesting scene, turn of events here, that the parent has finally agreed to buy iWatch. And of course, the parent has done something which is not right. So let us identify. Very nice. Not having clear boundaries, the parent is giving in, overtly permissive, not firm, giving in to the demand which is not appropriate, perfect. Any other responses? Not assertive, perfect. Unable to handle the child, yes, absolutely. The parent is just, giving in to the demands, not taking the pain of the regret later. Excellent. And gave up on the condition, right? The parent has doesn't have control over the child and her own emotions. The child has manipulated the parent. Importance and priority should have been created. Encouraging negative behavior. Excellent. It's a common situation, yes, because the children know where to tweak the parent. You don't love me. Oh, how can a parent ever tolerate the fact that the child don't love tantrums? Today it's iWatch, tomorrow it will become a probably I-20, and then there's not going to be any stopping, right? Yeah, the child has got the mother's nerve, which is telling you don't love me. It is okay to say we don't have money. There's a question here, is it okay to say we don't have money? Yes, we have to say that we have a fixed income and this is not a planned expense. So it will have to be planned later. Okay. So somewhere, first of all, the parent cannot say that, I'll do anything for you if you are a good boy. But yes, the parent has to say we can plan it later, but not as a bribe. Not that you do this, then we do this. Not at all. The parent should say that we have got a limited budget. This is a planned expense, the tuition. This is going to be an unplanned expense, which is not essential. So let us see how the parent handles it later on. And the child has rewarded the parent with what the parent wants to hear most. Love you, mom. So the child has smartly, the one of the expensive I love you mom dialogues is taking away something like a iWatch and just telling the parent I love you. Okay. So the emotional transaction is done here, which is not the right way to do it, right? Emotional blackmail, not respecting the rights for others. The child has not respected the fact that his sister, has to go for tuitions. The right is that the tuition fees has to be paid because that was a planned expense. This child, in his tantrum throwing of wanting to have an iWatch, which was probably perfect, definitely driven by this mother's dialogue, Ultimately, he has encroached the right of his sister, which is not the right thing to do. He is not respecting his sister's rights, right? Okay. Yeah, simple. The child has got spoiled for rotten for choices, and he's just going to keep demanding. Okay. Now here is a scene where the child says, "Mom, I want an iWatch." And the parent says, "Dear, why do you want such an expensive item? You already have two watches, which are working fine." The same dialogue, okay? And this is what the parent says. Right way of dealing with it. But can we have responses on, how has this parent reacted in the right way? I'm sorry, I think something is I'm clicking something. Okay. Why do you want such an expensive item? So, what has the parent done very smartly? The parent is reasoning with the child, okay, and with a good reason. You already have two watches, and with confidence, there's no regret, there's no repentance telling, "Oh, sorry, this is there." No, not at all. I'm telling a perfectly valid thing that you have two expensive watches. Why do you want? And they're working also, right? The other thing that the child can say is it's not working, okay? The child himself says, "I was a good boy today, I need the watch." This child is smart. The parent has not made any commitment. So the child says, "I was a good boy today, so I need the watch." The parent says, "I'm sorry, son, I won't be able to afford this for you for the following reasons. One, I don't have the money as your sister's fees are due. Two, you already have two watches." See how the parent has managed the demand, teaching him the value for money, excellent, making the child realize his demand is not justified, and saying that the watch is expensive, yes, not taking unnecessary demands, even if it is a small thing. When it is unplanned, the parent has to know to reason out with the child that this is not needed. The parent just see there is one more option where the parent just says, "Hey, don't ask for stupid demands. Do you think that the money is growing on the trees? Next time you ask it, you're going to get a tight slap." Here also the child is going to keep quiet, but the child is not convinced. Here, and that was a wrong way. Labeling and all stuff happened. So the child is made to understand. Yes, lecture will not help. If we keep on telling the child is not going to listen to anything. So the parent is just saying that there are two things because of which you are not going to have it. Okay. So let us see what has happened. Okay. The parent was firm, facts were stated, and the child is told that you have to respect your sister's rights. No choice there. The rules cannot be broken. Okay, again the child is trying the same tactic. "Mom, you don't love me. If you love me, you will buy it now. Pay for my sister's tuition next month after speaking to the teacher." Same thing the child has tried. The parent is like, "I am sorry. I know you feel you want the watch, but your sister needs tuitions to go to tuitions even more." Somewhere the parent is saying, "Yeah, I can understand that you want." Sorry, I just got a little distracted with the chat. Says that, "I know that you want the child, you want the watch." So the child feels, oh, the parent is understanding, but your sister needs to go to tuitions even more because that is the more important thing, education, right? So somewhere the parent is teaching the child to prioritize. Okay, the child says, "Okay, mom." Ultimately, the child doesn't have choice, so the child says, "Okay, mom," and here, not clumbling to blackmail, respecting the child realizes that he has to wait for what he wants and learns to respect others' needs. Your child is the parent is also teaching the child to be empathetic. That okay, if there is something that is higher priority, that is going to be given more importance than your tantrums, right? I'm just quickly just seeing the chat box. In case if the child says that the other watches are normal, but I need a watch now. Yeah, the child can always say that those are normal watches, so I need a watch now. But here the parent has told that I don't have money. I mean, if I don't have the money, if I don't have the planned money for it, how will I be able to give into your demand? This is not a planned expense, but the tuitions is a planned expense. The child will keep coming back. This, although in this case study it seems like okay, it's just a serial thing. No, it'll go in loop. The child will keep coming back. Probably the child will say, okay, mom, and after some more time, the child will say, okay, if you're not buying this month, can you buy it the next month? Okay. Or the child will say, okay, why don't this month I will not go for my classes, and you divert that money to iWatch. So there will be a lot of things that the child will come with. Children are genius when they want to get a reason out to get the things that they want. Okay, it is not going to say, yeah, the child can say you love my sister more. Yes, that is another emotional handle that they will use, right? So that time the parent has to say this was a planned expense, this is a part of my planned expense. Can your sister be without going to the tuitions? No, she will not be able to score the marks. I'm just saying hypothetically that the tuitions are so important to the sister that she has to score. Okay, the child will say, but the parent has to say that these things do not show how much I love you or your sister. Tomorrow's day, if it is between your tuitions and your child's watch or your sister's watch, tuitions is always education has got more value. Okay, what if he gets angry? How to handle? Again, when the child is angry, it's an emotion, it's a negative emotion that he may probably have, right? So the parent has to handle it patiently. The parent has to say that I understand that you are angry because you want the watch, but this is not a planned expense. I do not have the money for it. Parent has to be assertive. The child, as I said before, he will try different tactics. He may try rolling on the ground. He may try misbehavior. He may try not eating. He may try various other behavioral outcomes of his emotion. He is not able to manage the emotion of being rejected, of not being able to get the thing that he wants, right? So he is going to try the way to get what he wants. The parent has to have the patience, the parent has to have that one goal. This is a long thing that I'm teaching the child. It's not just about a watch, it's not just about that one time expense. It's about teaching the child that you have to have, right, like rightly said here, should we discuss the monthly expenditure with kids to list out the priorities? That is also an excellent idea. Supposing the kid is of an age where they can understand, the numbers need not be discussed with the kids. The kids need not know, hey, your parents income is 2 lakhs and then 50,000 is allocated for the tuitions or whatever. That doesn't need to be discussed. But the child has to be shown probably that excel sheet. See here, your mom has already put the budget, already put the expenses, and beyond that we will not be able to do, because whatever we are saving is for your education on a future date, right? Or probably when you get into college where you need to schedule and manage things better way, you will need the iWatch to help you out with managing your time and various other things. But right now when you're in school, it's not needed. Postponing the demand, if we talk about postponing the demand, then what is going to happen is the child may keep coming back to see, okay, has the parent got enough money, has the parent got enough money, and the child may start feeling loss of trust in the parent, right? So ultimately the parent has to say that beyond this budget we cannot afford, or it is not something we should plan for, things we should plan for contingencies. While we are planning a budget, we also need to say, oh, suddenly if there's some medical expense, for that we need to keep things aside, some money needs to be kept aside for that. The child may not understand it totally, definitely a finance thing is not something the child is expected to really absorb and understand. But what will happen is, over a period of time, the child realizes that if I do any unjustified demand, whether it is money, respect to money, with respect to anything else, simple thing like watching the movie, I want to only watch my movie all the time, I'm going to hog the TV the entire day. Simple things like that to complex things like finance to probably much more bigger things, the child has to be done. It is a very, very patient and iterative task that the parent has to do. The parent cannot expect that I tell the child once and the child is going to understand, and just it's not a program that is written into the child's head and the child is going to just keep going back to that program and doing it. Artificial intelligence is for that. But as far as children go, it is something that over a period of time, again and again and again, when it's told to them, told in the right way, if the child respects the parent, they will know the parent is not going to lie to them, the parent is not going to deny them something that they are justified in asking. Okay, so that is where the base forms. Yes, peer pressure is too much. That is something probably that drives these children, right? My friend has an iWatch. I also need an iWatch. What happens there? The parent needs to teach the child with patience. The parent cannot lose their patience and say, "You don't understand. They are rich people." You know, that is, it is not because it is rich or poor. The parent has to say that we plan a budget and we stick to that, right? If I have planned, if there is a iWatch that needs to be planned, we can plan it probably when you're getting into your degree. I'm just telling it for in a hypothetical situation. A middle class family, you know, so expense such as an iWatch, it is something that they need to really plan for, right? So from for peer pressure, we need to make them understand each family's financial status. When you say financial status and all that, it we should say every family has a plan. Like you tell the child, if you want to watch a movie, don't you plan that, okay, at 9 o'clock I'm going to watch, I will probably play I'll play for 1 hour, and then I reserve around three hours for my movie, right? Because there is fixed 24 hours in a day, so we plan it out like this. Similarly, there is a fixed income coming in, we put it in different buckets. The parent has to tell in different forms. Like if there is a pizza and there are 12 people there, we divide it. Pizza is fixed. The quantity, the volume of pizza is fixed. If there are 12 people, I'll have to cut it in 12 people and give. Do you think it is going to suffice the stomach? Parent has to think of innovative ways to teach the child and probably put it in simple, day to day activities also, right? A child is probably they've got a box full of chocolates and they're dividing. So they say, see, aren't you planning that if there are 10 people we need to give 10 to each? Similarly, mom also plans the money out. If the child in it seeps in slowly to the child, do not expect the first time you tell the child is going to understand. Not all children, some may understand, not all children will understand. But the parent should also know that they should not indulge themselves in unplanned expenses. After giving a long sermon to the child, telling that, oh, it's important for your sister's tuitions and this and that, if the dad the next day is going to buy an expensive something for himself, that is going to set a very wrong example, right? Okay, let me just quickly look at the time. Okay, time is 6:53. Let me just okay, now this zones of discipline, Mithil sir, I will continue this in the next session, zones of as a discipline part 2. Time is 6:53.
Do you wish to continue or shall I take over?
I think you take it up because there are quite a few slides more. So I
Okay,
will take discipline as two parts.
wonderful. That's great.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you
Vidya.
so much. Thank you
Uh,
so much.
Always your sessions, they have the highest attendance. Today, 126 people they have joined.
Thank you
And
so
thank you
much.
so much. And
Wonderful, wonderful participation. Thank you so much, everybody. Please keep participating like this. Makes the session very engaging.
interactive, correct. Next time, in coordination with Vidya and some others, some of you have to find a solution. Now, there is a case study for next Monday or subsequent Monday. The case study is there is a 12 years old child. Just a second. A 12-year-old child uh, girl, and she's just a second. I need to invite someone. So, have you noticed that when a child nowadays when children watch YouTube, there is an advertise running now, and when the child mistakenly clicks, that advertise looks like a cartoon animation. When a child clicks on the advertise, it goes to animated porno. Okay, and I have one case and still not found the solution. There is a mother who has contacted me. She's very like in a good position, busy and all that, and her husband is also busy. And she has a single child, 12 years, girl, and she's addicted to that anime porn. Okay, so I want every one of you to do the research and come out with a concrete solution. Okay, to find out how to resolve this problem. Okay, so there are going to be questions and all those things and multiple things, and we'll need to find out. Okay. So either coming Monday or the subsequent Monday. So because of this Facebook and YouTube and all at early age, the child they just parental filters they do not work. Okay, so these advertisers they are very smart. The parents they have put all the filters and everything, and it's not about addiction to YouTube. It's about addiction to anime porno, and I have two such clients, and still no concrete answer. Okay, um, right. Uh, so we need to find that solution. Okay. Uh, yeah, Meenakshi, you want to speak?
Good evening, sir. So I think in that condition, the communication is the best way.
Okay.
जब हम बैठेंगे बच्चों के साथ में, क्योंकि सर इस टाइम पे जो आज के टाइम में हम जानते हैं कि ज्यादातर घरों में यही प्रॉब्लम हो रही है कि वाइफ एजुकेशन के लिए जो हमें नेट मिला हुआ है, और उसके लिए, और सबसे बड़ी बात ये होती है कि पेरेंट्स इन चीजों के लिए बात करने से डरते हैं। अगर आप क्लियरली बच्चों के साथ में बात करेंगे, राइट और रॉन्ग उन्हें समझाने का बेस्ट एज है, आप उन्हें एग्जाम्पल से समझा सकते हैं, और क्लियर कम्युनिकेशन आई थिंक इसका सॉल्यूशन वही हो सकता है। समटाइम्स हमें उनके सामने सीधे बैठ के बहुत सारी चीजें डिस्कस, क्योंकि हम मे बी मोबाइल पे कुछ सिक्योरिटी लगा सकते हैं, बट उन्हें कहीं भी मौका मिलेगा अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ में या कुछ ऐसा होगा, तो बेसिकली प्रॉब्लम ये है कि उनको डिफाइन करना है कि दिस इज रॉन्ग और दिस इज राइट, चाहे वो अपने गैजेट में चलाएं चाहे अपने फ्रेंड के साथ में चलाएं, क्योंकि बच्चे आपस में भी आजकल सबके पास में फोन है, मे बी उनकी मदर उनके फोन में प्रोहिबिटेड कर दे, बट लेकिन बाहर करेंगे।
ओके, सो ये केस स्टडी आज डिस्कस नहीं करना है, छोटा नहीं है, इसको 3 घंटे लगने वाले हैं. It will take 3 hours. Okay, maybe 30 hours to solve this, come out with a solution. Okay, 5-6 people they can come out and suggest something and then come out. The parents are very educated, they are at director level. Okay, they have done all the communication, discussion, everything. So that is not the thing. We need to come with a concrete solution for the parent to manage. Okay, so we don't want something like they should talk, they should build network, they should have emotion bonding and with the child. No, not required. Already done, educated, everything is done. Time has gone. Right? They cannot go back in time and do the emotion thing and all. What to do now? What to do today? What to do from tomorrow? Okay. So they are very well educated. They know all this parental filter and all. I don't want that. I want a concrete solution, either in terms of actions or in terms of counseling the child or the parent. Right? Okay. So parents have visited two different counselors. They have not been able to provide a solution. They have visited me. I have not been able to provide the solution. Today is not the day to solve this case study. Time is already up. Okay. So that is not what I'm looking for today. Today, just you got this case study, and in next 2 weeks, you find out some solution and resolve that, and come out with a concrete solution. Okay. So there is something called pravachan or just a preaching, not required, not going to work. And then there is something called concrete, tangible action. Okay, it will give the outcome. That is what I want the answer. Okay. Yes. So something like to-do list. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Somil. Yeah. Penna, if it is related to this case study, then skip it, please. Lower your hand. If it is related to something else, then come. Now about the exam.